PCDA, no, ang acronym po nito ay PCDA, um, was passed into law by Congress. And it's also been 3 years since the Malikain Pinoy program was put in place by the Department of Trade and Industry. We have a 2030 vision, which is not far from now, as you can imagine. I'll share more about it later. But let's go back to the start. No? Why was it important or bakit ba kinailangan ng batas para sa creative industries? So there are a couple of things no, that nung pumasa po yung batas, ito po yung mga immediate na positive impact ng pagpasa ng batas na ito sa ating sektor, no, creative industries. No. Number one, yung recognition. Napakahalaga po na ma-recognize on a formal and legal perspective yung socio-economic contributions ng creative industries. So, hindi na nila pwedeng sabihin na walang pera sa creatives kasi malinaw na nire-recognize ng state no, or ng bansa yung contributions ng creative industries from an economic perspective. And also, yung the social aspect. It's very apparent in the law yung benefits, dual benefits ng creative industries. And yun nga po, it serves as a legal basis no, and premise. So kami po sa departamento and sa iba't ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno, we can now issue guidelines, circulars on the creative industries because we have basis in the law. If you've ever worked in policy, you understand the importance of this. No? And from guidelines, from circulars, that's how you can create projects that are meaningful for the stakeholders. So it starts with the law. It starts with the law. So now we have that. There is a strong feature of PCDA is the whole of government approach. No? So we were able to streamline collaboration between and among government agencies, no? Primarily through the creation of a Philippine Creative Industries Development Council. No? So later I will share yung composition ng council na yun. Related to that, improved coordination. So we are taking down barriers to collaboration so that we don't work in silos, but we always work with each other. And then designating government agencies on their mandates to the creative industries. I will share some of them later. And internationally, it was a signal that the Philippines is taking this seriously compared to before. In fact, medyo huli na tayo sa Southeast Asia. We were one of the last hindi naman last, but among, say, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, nauna po sila sa atin when it comes to prioritizing the creative industries on a national level. So at least, we've caught up and we're on the table. So ano ba itong creative industries na pinag-uusapan natin? Just to be very clear about it. Sometimes when you see creativity, you know it's creative, di ba? But in the eyes of the law, let's just be categorical about it para wala nang tanong-tanong. So on your screen is the legal definition of creative industries, which refer to those directly or indirectly involved. And I highlighted this portion on creation, production, manufacturing, performance, broadcasting, communication, and exhibition or distribution. Because when we talk of creative industries under the law, we are talking about the entire value chain na tinatawag, or from start to finish, from mula sa paggawa, pag-ideate, kung idea pa lang yan, part na yan ng creative industries, hanggang sa pag-produce, whether no matter the scale, kung 10 piraso yan or 1,000 piraso, hanggang sa mabenta yung isang produkto o servisyo. So exhibition, distribution, all of them comprise this creative industries na tinatawag. So let's talk about what you probably have heard, the 9 domains. So this is just a way for us to show how inclusive the creative industries are. So in addition to that legal definition, the law also lists down ano ba yung creative industries by categorizing them into 9 domains. And the lawmakers did not pull this out of thin air. If you look at the right, ito po yung creative model ng UN, no? Committee on Trade and Development, or UNCTAD. So siguro I'll use this diagram to give a brief explanation of the 9 domains. So it always starts with our heritage, our culture, our history. So part niyan would be traditional cultural expressions, or ito yung mga again, no, passed down by tradition, whether oral or written to us by our ancestors. Of course, the arts and crafts. I don't have to overemphasize this in the city of Baguio. But also the festivals, celebrations. Kung mga nakagawian nating tradition, just translating the domain name. But also even the physical manifestation, or in cultural sites natin, the old sites of our again of people who came before us. They have become cultural icons by themselves, and they are part of the creative industries. But beyond our heritage, there is a performative aspect to creative industries, meaning to say yung expression of creativity or ng culture na yun. It comes out according to the UNCTAD, in at least one of two ways. Number one, performing arts. We dance, we sing, we perform, we congregate as communities. That's part of the creative industries. Of course, in more modern times, we go to the theater, we perform on stage. Whether it's classical music or modern dance, it's all part of the creative industry. Sa isang banda naman, it's may left side, visual. We may not be ourselves performing, but in our studios, in our back rooms, we create art through coming from that culture. We express our culture through art, which we eventually exhibit and display and distribute in our galleries, etc. And then, of course, as times modernize, we have media, we have more efficient ways of distributing art. So on the left side, you have books or publishing and printed media. We utilize, the printing press, and of course, beyond print, we also distribute through the internet the words that we write and the stories that we create more than anything else. And of course, we have audiovisual. Dito na papasok yung pelikula, yung music, even radio is part of audiovisual. So anything that we watch and that we hear or combine, that's part of audiovisual. And then, as we go up the value chain, the idea of design may be very familiar with all of you. So that's another domain. We also have creative services. Siguro if you think of the BPO industry, this is very much related to the creative industries. And then new media, or in the case of PCEDA, we call it digital interactive media. So yun po, those are the encompassing 9 domains. So just to share with you, again, we listed down in the law. So if you count these by hand, you will arrive at around 73 subsectors. Ito pong nasa kanan. So we also have, different ways of viewing these 9 domains. Ito naman po nakita niyo sa screen niyo, we call this the creative industry clusters, where we cluster them into their common, I would say, business models. So for example, pag sinabing creative goods, pwede mong pagsamasamahin yung fashion, furniture, arts and crafts. Why? Because they are tangible expressions of creativity. More or less, they are manufactured, whether by hand or by machine or combined. and they're distributed through more or less the same channels, no? Whether it's physical stores, e-commerce, trade fairs, and the like. No? Entertainment and media. So when we think of entertainment, we think of music, film, and in this case, even games. No? Digital creative services are those creative products by which we serve clients. No? We serve clients. So again, talking about the BPO industry, dito po yan papasok. May creative aspect po yung BPO. And of course, creative tourism. Uh, Creative tourism naman po is the aspect of creativity that involves tourism. So meaning to say, for me to experience creativity in a certain location, I have to be there. I have to be a tourist. I have to book a plane, ride the bus. For me to experience the Ibaguio Festival, or for me to be able to eat at Mountain Man, for example, a very well-respected restaurant in Baguio City. So yeah, that's creative tourism for you. So again, no, hindi na po nila masasabi na walang pera sa creativity. We have proven it over and time again. No, currently, based on 2024 data, we're looking at 7.3 contribution to GDP, 7.5 million employed individuals, and approximating or approaching 2 trillion pesos in gross value add. So again, these are just some of the figures. No? So if you are still on the fence, no? Kung hindi ka pa sigurado, if you pursue your craft, your creative idea, hopefully this gives you an extra push, no? That there's a market out there, and it's not in my slides, no? But we are also looking at 3% of global GDP. So meaning to say, 3% of total the global economy is creative. And this is, some would argue an underestimation, in fact. Kasi in some figures, 3% only refers to entertainment sector. So, ibig sabihin, mas malaki pa when you include the other clusters. So again, it's not easy to count creativity. It's very intangible and elusive at times. No? But the bottom line is there is a market out there, both domestically and globally, for as long as you have a competitive product. You have an innovative product that people need, or people would desire, to use a stronger word. So it's not automatic, and that's why you need organizations such as the CBCC to test your market, or to get initial feedback. You can ask your peers, do I have a good product, or what areas can I improve? Or just like last year, the DTI worked with the city of Baguio for the Imagineering project. We were able to test some of your products, kung papatok sa Taquilla or sa Mercado. And later, I have a small surprise in relation to that program. Sige, so stepping back, again, this is a law at the end of the day, and what a law would promise are some long-term benefits. So just to update you, ano na bang updates sa creative industries? We have passed, or at least started deliberating on a couple of key guidelines and circulars relating to creative industries. So I'll start with the middle. We have the Philippine Creative Industries Plan. So this is the roadmap, essentially, for all the creative industries in the Philippines. It was approved last year, July 2024. We had a change in a chairperson of the council, who's also the DTI secretary. So we had to reaffirm that approval this year, just last month. To the left, we have the Philippine Creative Cities Network guidelines. Just to share with you, in those guidelines, automatic po member ang Baguio City sa PCCN by virtue of being a UNESCO Creative City. So along with Cebu and Iloilo, members po kayo ng PCCI. To the right, no, talking about statistics, we have the Creative Industry Satellite account. So this will help our PSA, or the Philippine Statistics Authority, better or more accurately, rather, more accurately determine the value, economic value of the creative industries. Still in the pipeline, but again, work has started. The Creative Industries Investment Priority Plan. This is a list of specific creative sectors that are supposed to receive incentives, non-fiscal and fiscal incentives. So we're working with the Board of Investments for this. And then Creative Workers Welfare Standing Committee. So this is under Section 5 of the law. Recognizing that at the heart of the industry would be the workers, the people who do the actual work. So we have created a standing committee that will look after the welfare of creative workers. So again, the work has just started there. We're looking at specific programs and policies for creative workers. Okay, so I will just be highlighting a few more aspects of PISIDA. And one of them is, saan ba nanggagaling yung kapangyarihan ng creative industries? One would argue, I would argue that it comes from local communities. And there are two types of communities in the law. Number one is ito nga, the local communities, or I would say geography-based communities. So LGUs primarily. So whether you're a province or a city or a municipality or even a barangay, creative barangays, or even just a neighborhood or just a district or even just a hub, just a building. These are geographically based communities, and the law recognizes that in several sections. So Section 8 mandates the creation of a Creative Cities Network. So ito nga po yung isang na-implement na natin through guidelines. Yun din, section related to that, Section 21. And then, we're supporting the NCCA, who are the stalwarts of the local culture and arts councils. We promoted it in PISIDA to not only establish but to strengthen the LCACs, the LCACs. But again, ang gusto ko lang po sabihin, the law recognizes local communities that are geographically based. In fact, just to share a quick story, when we were pushing for this bill pa po siya, hindi pa po siya act or law. One of the places we were able to visit was Baguio City. We benchmarked, or we consulted the local creative community, your local, of course, we talked to the two national artists in Baguio during that time, 2021. We spoke with them at length what they would want to see in the creative industries law. I remember Tatay Kidlat, nasa Ililikha kami kukwentuhan. He really wanted a school where knowledge and crafts can be passed down from generation to generation. So yun, and of course being in the presence of Benka, the museum, the mix of art and commerce, si Sir Ben, more than the art, he has become a venue, a space for Baguio creatives that is sustainable. So may coffee shop doon, may merchandise, napabili pa kami. So it becomes a sustainable thing. So that's the heart of the creative industries. We balance culture and commerce. As difficult as it may be, as you can imagine, but we balance to sustain culture and to promote culture. We balance it with commerce. But another important community that the law recognizes and promotes would be what we call support organizations. So regardless if they are national or local in scope, we're looking at organizations established, formally established under SEC, well-staffed, di ba? May secretariat, you have a wide, membership base that cuts across, different interests. When we were